I would like to now present our valedictorian, Marissa Gonzalez.
Welcome to this highly anticipated day, where we are surrounded with the most significant figures in our lives. Welcome board members, faculty, staff, and welcome family and friends. I remember when my sister graduated from high school back in 2007, and I counted down the years until this day. It seemed impossible to me that the time would actually come when I would get up on a stage and receive my long-awaited diploma. Now that it is actually here, I'm even more in disbelief. It seems like just a couple of years ago, I was running around the playground of my elementary school with my closest friends, and I was waiting for my impeccable plate of macaroni and cheese. And middle school seems like just a couple of years ago, when you're trying to figure out who has a crush on who and always working to better your mile time. But when high school came, something always felt different to me. I was always looking for something more, and I was never completely satisfied. I did not start my high school years at San Diego Virtual, but I started at Steel Canyon. And rightfully so, the most frequently asked question that I've received for the past few years that I've been here has been as to why I decided to venture down a different path. During the second half of my freshman year of high school, my family and I took a trip to San Francisco, a city that I love. And although I had been many times before, something about this particular trip really changed my life. It was like I was visiting for the first time, and I saw endless possibilities and life and opportunities, and more importantly, I saw myself at my happiest. And it was the realization that I had the ability to be happier than I was that pushed me away from traditional school. When I came back home, I constantly had this sense of urgency and displacement, and I knew that there was a world out there where I belonged. And as far as I knew, there was no way out. I remember very vividly walking to my first class in the morning, and I would literally be fighting back tears because I hadn't even registered how unhappy I really had become. It was not until my sister and I were in the parking lot one morning, and we just lightly were joking about me possibly going to online school. And I remember there was a split second where we both kind of looked at each other, and we just instantly started Googling online schools. And within the first few minutes, we found out that it was not a joke at all, and it was actually something really quite feasible. Ever since I was little, my parents have made me present a case for anything I wanted, as if I were a lawyer and we were in court. And naturally, I handled this a lot in the same way, although I knew they would definitely be more skeptical about this than me wanting to go to Build-A-Bear workshop. But with the help of my sister, I presented my case, and I found that although it was something completely new to them and they didn't really know anything about it, they were open to learning about new paradigms. So at that point, we went to the San Diego Virtual School office, and we instantly felt at home. I was also the same day that I met my teacher, not at all knowing how strong our bond would grow. And there was only one thing left holding me back from my decision, and that was really just feeling selfish. I went to a school with my cousin, and family is my #1 priority. I'm sorry. It was always my dream to go to school with him, and want him at all to feel that I do not value our relationship enough to stay. But it was something that I knew that I had to do, and I heard a quote that really stuck with me. And that was, it is not selfish to love yourself, take care of yourself, and to make yourself a priority. It is necessary. And I had reached a point in my life to where I knew what I had to do, and I knew that making a change was necessary. And I'm so incredibly grateful for my parents who listened to what I needed, and I have never taken their love and support for granted because I know that not everybody has that. And I feel really, really lucky to have the support system that I do. Making the decision to come to San Diego Virtual School was the absolute biggest and most bold decision I could make at the time. And it truly taught me how to move forward in my own direction. Not enough people are living with a sense of urgency to be passionate and carve out a new path for themselves. Be bold and brave enough to experience different outlets and become wildly passionate about what calls to you. There are infinite opportunities out there if people would have the nerve to see what calls to their heart. I was set on one particular vision of what I thought my future should be before I even entered high school. There was one college that I had figured out that I had to go to, and that was the only version of my future that there was. But I realized the opportunities are endless if you have the ability to figure out what you want. As Nelson Mandela once said, there is no passion to be found in playing small, for settling for a life less than the one you are capable of living. I want to speak in front of the camera. I want to provide my insight on sports. I want to provide my insight on the San Francisco Giants, and I want NASCAR fans out there to know that Joey Logano won many championships in his career, and I will make sure that everybody knows I could tap. There is no point in confining yourself to one vision, is my point. We have worked so incredibly hard to get to this point. We have been through so much, emotionally and physically, both inside and outside of school. And it's truly insane for me to be standing up here right now and to think about who I was first entering high school, never thinking that I would be standing right here today at all. And we have worked so hard and we have accomplished so much, but our work is not at all done. And if you think it is, then I'm very sorry, but you need to celebrate and to be genuinely proud of yourself. That was the biggest lesson that I learned in high school and in my life so far, that it's not a bad thing to celebrate yourself, and never ever let anybody dismiss your accomplishments. Nobody has the right to take away anything that you have accomplished in your life. Dare to make yourself happier each and every day, and please be dauntless in your future endeavors, and I promise you, use your resources wisely, and there is always a path to your dreams. Before I end my speech here, I wanted to take this moment to capture what I'm assuming will be the best selfie that I've ever taken in my life.
We're proud of you, Marissa! Yeah.
Thank you, Marissa. Mrs. Hansen-Oren will be reading the names of our 2016 graduates.
Not so bad. She did good.